right, so we've got an interesting one. A recent interview actually was just published about 30 minutes ago with ESPN MMA, Ariel Helwani. So he is interviewing Israel Adesanya after the UFC 253, and he gets to a point where he addresses the elephant in the room and talks about the gyno that is clearly underneath Israel's right pec. So let's watch this and let's listen to what Israel has to say about that, because it's very, very interesting. So let's check it out.
At the beginning of this interview, you referenced the elephant in the room. So since the victory, people have been commenting on your right pec, and you are being accused of steroids, gyno, all these things. When I did my show with DC, all the comments.
See, when I first saw it, it was gymnastics I was reading, because I'm dyslexic. So I'm like, what? Oh wait, gyno, and I Googled it. So that's one thing. I didn't want to speak about it until I know what it was, because it's being...
Israel apparently, he didn't even know what gyno was prior to this, or, so he says, who knows. But I don't know. I guess he didn't know what it was. So that's a little bit interesting.
It's been on me for like the last 8 weeks, and it was just growing. I was like, this is quite sore.
Okay, so what he says right here is very, very, very telling, right? So how long does a typical steroid cycle last? I don't know exactly what fighters usually take for a steroid cycle, but he said it's been growing on him for about the past 8 weeks. That doesn't mean that he had nothing there before, but he said it's been growing for about 8 weeks, right? Now, if he was on a cycle of steroids, he would definitely be on that cycle up until, potentially, 2 weeks before his fight, right? I don't know exactly the testing schedule that the UFC has, or what they do for testing, but 8 weeks prior to a fight, he would definitely be on the steroid cycle still. And so it would be potentially growing, if he's doing nothing to prevent the gyno, it would be potentially growing up until he stops taking the steroid cycle. And again, this is all just my opinion. It's just speculation. I'm not saying Israel Adesanya took steroids, so don't think that I am. But it definitely sounds like possibly he was. But I obviously am not sure. I'm not his doctor. I'm not him. I can't say one way or another. So this is just my opinion on it. But he says that it was quite sore up until then. Well, everything that we know about gyno, it is sore when you have it, and it's growing, and so I don't know, this just really, really, really sounds like a bad case of gyno that he had. But let's keep watching.
And even my girl told me to go to the doctor, but I was like, I'll just get this fight done over with first. But yeah, I don't know what it is. And I also, from what I've read on the Googles about gynos, the MMA or whatever, it happens to...
So he probably really didn't know what gyno was, because he just called it gynosememia, or he's just kind of playing dumb here. But that is about the worst pronunciation I've ever heard of it. But that's hilarious. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Both your boobs, right? So this is just one. In my head, I'm like, I hope it's not. Wouldn't it be funny if I died in like...
So here he says the common myth that gyno happens in both and not just one of your nipples. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. As we saw in a couple of my last videos, gyno can definitely happen in just only one nipple. And it looks like that may be the case with Israel Adesanya as well.
5 months, and then it was cancer.
No,
and it won't be funny. I mean,
right? I mean,
like Chadwick was, a guy who, rest in peace.
So he's talking about, it could be cancer, and kind of joking about that. And in all seriousness, it's possible it could be, and so that's why we can't know for sure. This is just my speculation that it is gyno, but again, it's just my opinion. I don't know for sure. It definitely could be something else. He's totally right about that.
Was going through a lot, and everything was hush hush, and then people were making fun of him for looking skinny. And then when he died, he was such a hero, and these clowns were still talking about him when he was, going through what he was going through. So I don't know what this is, but yeah, You know what, Ariel, with the performance like I had, I would think I was on steroids too. I would think they need something. It couldn't be just him. It couldn't be him. It must be something, sir.
So this is definitely something that, you know, someone who is on steroids would say. I would think, you know, I'm not necessarily believing this interaction here. You know, he's saying, you know, all the haters just want to say that I'm on steroids because it couldn't be just me. You know, it has to be something else working through him. And I don't know, that's just not a very convincing argument to me that he's not on steroids, but let's listen on.
Yeah, for me, it's all fun and games, man. Like I said, I got 2 weeks of quarantine. I'm going to entertain the out of myself. Ooh, boy.
So as of right now, you have no idea what that is. No one is. You haven't gotten checked out. No doctor has said anything to you.
I just got blood test done, and I did like a scan, 2 MRI scans just now, like 20 minutes ago, for my pituitary gland. And yeah, so we'll get the test back and see what it is. I've never really been one to diagnose myself with Google, so I wasn't going to start now. So I've done my test, and I'll wait for the results, and then yeah, I might keep you posted, or I might keep letting people speculate, because it's kind of fun to watch people just cry about it.
Can I just ask, does it hurt? Like if someone punched you there, does it hurt? Is it tender?
Yeah, a little bit. Like right now it's a little bit tender, but this one's fine. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
But I mean, that's the thing.
So there you go. Again, he says it's still tender. It's tender right there. And gyno is tender when you have it. You know, it's not to say it couldn't be something else that's tender as well, but gyno is definitely very tender. And, you know, as he's doing that, it looks like it's a little bit tender there. He's wincing a little bit with his face. So it definitely seems like gyno.
They're talking about my antics taking away from victory. They're trying to take away from my victory with, you know, their speculations as well. So it is what it is. Cry all you want. Bottom line is, I told you so. In the comments down below, just know, I told you so.
Again, you know, he's kind of deflecting the talk about gyno. He's just trying to get it off of that a little bit, just saying, you know, it was me. They're just trying to take away my victory. So,
thing on this topic, have you ever taken steroids?
No, that's not something. Come on, man. I know you believe me, but it's just, I mean, if come on, silly.
That's not a guilty laugh or anything. Come on, that is hilarious, dude. Not very convincing to me. You know, knowing what I know.
But no, I haven't. I'm not one of those people who needs a crutch. You know, that when that's taken away, then they feel weak. They feel inadequate. They feel like, oh my. You see how when USADA came through, a lot of people fell off. A lot of bodies changed. You know?
So again, you know, he's got the same mindset as a lot of people that steroids are a crutch. You know, they're just something that someone who's not strong enough to do it naturally does. You know, that's not necessarily the case. I mean, if you are competing at such a high level like this, then you want a little bit of that extra advantage. It's just a boost. It doesn't mean that you couldn't be just as good of a fighter or just as good of a bodybuilder or whatever without steroids. It's just that if that is available to you and can help you a little bit, then most guys are going to take that advantage. And so, you know, he's kind of deflecting it and saying, oh, it's just a crutch. I don't need that. Other guys might, but I'm strong enough on my own. I don't necessarily agree with that sentiment.
And a lot of people didn't feel good enough without the little magic supplements. But yeah, not me. Skills, bro. Skills pays the bills.
And I believe in less than 2 years since you made your debut in.
And this is, you know, another thing. You know, he says skills pay the bills. I don't need anything else. Look, steroids aren't going to make your skills any better. They just might make you, in this case, hit a little bit harder, recover a little bit faster. But you still have to have those skills. Steroids don't just create skills for you and talent. So, you know, even if he was taking steroids at this moment, it doesn't take away from his victory. It doesn't take away from his talent, in my opinion, because steroids cannot add talent to anyone. That just has to come.
February of 2018, you've been tested 32 times by USADA. Obviously, you've never failed, so that is certainly worth noting as well.
Not even a little blip. You wait till Paulo pops. I can't wait. And I told you, I'm going to pop him before USADA does. And when he pops, ooh, I'm going to glow.
Now, when we talked before the fight, I made a point not to ask you a single question about John.
So again, he says he's been tested 32 times and he's been clean every single time. I don't know in the UFC. Maybe some of you guys can drop some comments below, those that know a little bit more about the UFC. I don't know if these fighters know ahead of time the testing regimen, but he could definitely, if he was taking steroid cycle, he could definitely just cycle off prior to, or perhaps, you know, he could be on, let's say, just testosterone, and that would show up on a drug test, but it could say, you know, he's in high normal range, and then there'd be nothing to flag, right? So you know, I don't know exactly how that goes in the UFC. So some of you, if you know a little bit more about it, drop some comments below. But apparently, you know, he's been tested 32 times. He's been clean every single time. So based on that, you know, if he didn't have the gyno, we would have no reason to believe that he was taking steroids. But that gyno is very, very, very suggestive of the fact that perhaps he is taking some sort of anabolics in order to accentuate his success there a little bit. But I just thought this interview was very interesting. Again, it's just my opinion. Why don't you guys leave me some comments below on your opinion? Let me know what you think, whether this is gyno or maybe it's something else on him. So I'm curious to see what you guys have to think, and smash that like button for me and hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys in the next video.